Saksikan CNBC Indonesia bersama saya Safrina Nasution. Kita akan berdiskusi dan mendengar langsung dari salah satu narasumber kita, investor Dubai, bisnis Dubai, bagaimana melihat perekonomian dan potensi dari Indonesia, dan bagaimana sebenarnya investor atau pelaku bisnis Dubai melihat Indonesia sebagai salah satu tujuan investasi utama di dunia. Saya berbincang bersama dengan Your Excellencies Mohammad Ali Rashed Lootah, President and CEO of Dubai Chambers. How are you, sir?
Good. How are you?
A pleasure to have Your Excellencies in this very hometown of Jakarta.
Thank you.
How do you enjoy your visit so far?
It's very exciting.
Very.
We see the vibrant engagement between the private sector from Dubai and Indonesia, hoping that they will have very successful meetings today.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. You held an event for today, the New Horizon Ease of Doing Business in Indonesia from Dubai Chambers. What is the purpose for this event, sir?
The purpose of the event is really to bring the private sector of Dubai closer to the private sector of Indonesia. Part of the new economic agenda of Dubai D33 that was launched last January in 2023. ASEAN region was one of the markets that is considered as a future corridor that we should concentrate more in terms of bringing more trade and investment between Dubai and the ASEAN region. Due to the significant size of the Indonesian economy in the ASEAN region. So we started our mission in the ASEAN region this year from Jakarta. We're bringing companies from diverse sectors with us, not only to understand the opportunities in the Indonesian market, even to connect them with Indonesian firms that might end up in driving more trade or ending up into very successful joint venture projects that will hopefully result in positive impact.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for holding this event. Now that you mentioned about Asian region and Asian countries and talking about investment in Indonesia, how do you see the Indonesia's competitive advantage compared to other ASEAN countries such as Thailand, Vietnam, or Malaysia? What is the potential that Indonesia has, and what probably some prospective sectors that you see Indonesia has a room for growth and room for potential? So.
First of all, Indonesia is the largest economy in the ASEAN region, the largest in terms of population, one of the fastest in terms of annual year-to-year growth in the GDP, and has a very growing young skilled labor. And I think these are the important elements that every economy needs. It needs a skilled labor, well-trained, well-educated, to have very diverse economy that started with the agriculture, moved into more of agri-tech and food and beverage and construction and investment opportunity. And I think signing the CEPA agreement between UAE and Indonesia really helped in removing a lot of trade barriers that encouraged more investment from Dubai to go into the Indonesian market and more trade, and vice versa. Such initiatives will always help to increase the education and awareness between the private sector of both countries. That will eventually result in growth of the bilateral trade and investment.
Visiting Indonesia and also having a comprehensive economic partnership agreement and see all this landscape that Indonesia has to offer. What's your thought of Indonesia's business and investment climates, or any evaluation from your side?
Last year, the bilateral trade between Dubai and Indonesia increased by 7.7%, reaching up to the non-oil, reaching up to $3.5 billion. One of the target of CEPA agreement between UAE and Indonesia is to drive the bilateral non-oil trade between UAE and Indonesia in the next few years to hit. What was very interesting is that the increase of foreign direct investment from Dubai into Indonesia, that in the last 5 years, a total of around $2 billion investing in transportation, logistics sector, and real estate. And we witnessed a growth of interest from Indonesian companies setting up in Dubai. So the number of active companies in from Indonesia setting up in Dubai is around 114 companies that are members of Dubai Chamber. And in the last 5 years, we witnessed a growth in terms of investment from Indonesia into Dubai. I think summing up all of these numbers gives a message that there is a very increased momentum in terms of the bilateral trade and investment. This shows the successful attempts that happened and agreements. When there is a CEPA agreement, that post this agreement you see increased of bilateral trade and investment. This really shows that we really should take an advantage of this and take it as a leverage for further growth. That's why we decided to have a mission here today, really to drive and take advantage of this positive momentum to try to increase it to higher levels.
Fostering the growth and utilizing the momentum of very, very good numbers that already been achieved between Indonesia and the UAE. Sir, so we are reaching the month of May, 7 months until the end of 2024. Any kind of trade potential between Indonesia and also UAE that can still be explored to add value to the cooperation between our two countries?
Since last year, we opened an office for Dubai International Chamber in Jakarta, and today we encourage the Indonesian companies to engage with our office. I think one big opportunity for growing the bilateral trade lies around the services sector, especially in the digital economy. We have a very important platform called Expand North Star. It's the largest technology startup event, one of the largest in the world and the largest in the region, that takes place in Dubai every October. Last year we had 1,600 tech startups participating from around 100 countries. I think this will be a great platform for Indonesian technology startups or scale-up to come participate and meet around 1,000 investors there. It's an excellent platform for growing the ICT sector, which witnessed a very interesting growth in Indonesia. And it is very well aligned with the growing young population. Majority of them, they are moving into new sectors, especially with the high-skilled, well-educated generations.
To delve deeper about this plans of Indonesia building capital city of Nusantara, it is planning to be a modern city, just like Dubai. So on your thoughts, on your opinions, what are the things that can be implemented in Nusantara, or any study cases or any previous cases that can also be applied building modern cities just like Dubai, if Indonesia wants to thrive as well and want to have a strong growth as well and want to have a strong presence as a modern cities, especially for Nusantara, sir?
I think in addition to having a very robust infrastructure that will support the ease of movement of logistics and people to commute around the city, is one of the strong areas of Dubai is having a cluster of specialized zones. So as you heard before, we have a dedicated zone for the IT companies called Dubai Internet City, and then we have Dubai Media City, which plays as a cluster area for the media service provider. And we do the same in different economies. So you will see that we have a dedicated logistic area that will connect all of the logistics players and connect the free zones, which is special economic zone, with the port and with the airport. So building, the clustered economy model really helps in terms of bringing added value to the economy. One of the very interesting clusters is the knowledge cluster. So we have a dedicated area that brings all of the universities, international universities, and education providers in one geographic location. And I think it is always inspiring when you see new cities developed in a way that what would the economy need, what would the people need, and what would the future economies need. So, now we have a lot of the interest and growing development in AI and Web3 and new digital economy, in addition to the solid sectors that always play an important role of each country. So this is one of the advantages that gave Dubai a competitive both regional and global edges, that we have specialized zones that made it very attractive for global players to have their regional hubs in Dubai to serve the bigger region. And I think this is one of the areas that made Dubai very competitive globally.
And also meeting the people needs with the specialized cluster zones, basic needs for the people who live in it as a smart and modern cities. What's your thought about Indonesia having this new capital city move? It must be a big challenge, it must be a big move, but how do you see Indonesia will success on moving its capital city to the new one?
Well, I'm sure there are strategies in the Indonesian government that we always trust and believe that they have their deep studies for the betterment of Indonesia. What we can support as businesses coming from Dubai is really to understand the investment opportunities that are not necessarily only concentrated in the new capital across all Indonesia. And we'd like to encourage our businesses to not only concentrate on the traditional sectors that they invest in, even to diversify their investment within Indonesia itself. So how can we tap into the sectors that are of growing interest in the young population? How can we tap into sectors that Indonesia is trying to prioritize as their future growing sectors? How can we invest in certain opportunities that will enable our companies to use Indonesia as a base for ASEAN region? So I think understanding the investment opportunities and driving for more private sector investment coming from Dubai to Indonesia, this will definitely increase the importance of doing business with Indonesia for Dubai-based companies.
Can you explain more how can the presence of Dubai chambers and also events like this, like New Horizon, Ease of Doing Business Indonesia, just like today, could also give a boost of economic collaboration between Indonesia and Dubai, especially in capturing the opportunities that new capital city, just like Nusantara, has?
Such events, the way we are building them, we don't limit the event by having only a very generic conference. We do on the side business matching meetings. So these business matching meetings are organized 3 months ahead of today. So we took the profile of the companies from Dubai and we matched it with profile of companies in Indonesia, so we can assure better chances of success for them to engage in businesses. In addition to that, the additional day that takes place, which will happen tomorrow, is really to take the delegation to site visits of interest in Indonesia, so they can understand more what Indonesia can offer. And then we ensure that we're working with the stakeholder in Indonesia to increase the chances of success of investment and trade between the same delegation that joins. So we're building the model as a very practical model that will yield results that will benefit both Dubai and Indonesia.